Shapelab is a polygonally based sculpting tool, which, like many other programs, gives you one hand dedicated for the brush, and another hand dedicated for the tool selection and various other settings. So let's go over some settings first. The program comes loaded with several templates. So if you hit the Load Templates button under the Load menu, you can choose between various models. So if you want to sculpt the head, just choose the head, and you have a decent head to work out of. You can save your scenes, and you can also export the model out of the program into another software and start working there as well. You have scenes, which allows you to change the scenery, and the render supports HDRI, so depending on your texture, environmental texture, it will reflect the lighting condition, which is reflected on the geometry. You also have some different shaders with less shine and very shiny metallic. You also have an unlit shader. Yeah, it's unlit. Settings, you can adjust the ambient sound and effects volume. You can also change the dominant hand from left to right and vice versa. And you also have a color threshold and subdivide resolution. I don't really know what these values means, or the values don't really appear, so I don't really know what they mean, but I just keep it default. We also have a help menu, which allows you to read some text. There's also a button on top, which allows you to see all the various functionalities of each button on your controllers. Yeah, so to rotate the model, you use the sculpting tool hand by using the grip button underneath, or the Oculus or Windows VR equivalent, to rotate it. And to move it, you use the controller, which is responsible for the tools. You can put it further away or closer to you by using both the grip buttons. You can also scale up and down, but you can also move it further away by using the grip button under your tool and keeping your thumb either on the top of the pad or at the bottom. So at the top, you'll move it further away. At the bottom, move it closer to you. You have the usual undo, redo buttons. You also have a mirror button in the middle. And you can see it rotated a bit, but you can see it reflects over. You also have the projection tool. If I click this button, you get a distance projection. So you can stand from a big distance from the model and paint on it, like so. You also have the auto option, which allows you to do both, essentially. And also, just the traditional keep close to the controller option as well. This button will bring up the menu, but you can also just press the menu button on your controller, and it will do the same thing. Quick save allows you to save the model, so you can load up. If you do some work and then you change your mind, you can easily just load the model from the quick saves menu. Reload allows you to just reload. Yeah, like I said, reloads the file. And that's it for the tools. You have the paint menu, which allows you to paint on the model as well. Green, your model. Alright, so let's look at the tools. You have the traditional tools, the grab, which is it dynamically retopols the geometry, so you can basically drag it around in any angle. And it will, it's like Dynotopo or, yeah, like you used to from Blender or ZBrush and stuff like that. Also have a move tool, which is kind of similar, but it doesn't really have the you can't really drag it out like you would a grab tool, because it doesn't really subdivide the same way. But it's good for just dragging stuff out and stuff like that. But yeah, you might as well just use the grab, unless you don't want the subdivision. But that's up to you. It's a good thing to have the options to choose. Sometimes you don't want to subdivide more. Alright, you have the inflate tool. So basically it will move. It's a little bit unpredictable actually, but it essentially just
pushes the vertices and faces outwards from their surface.
some tools allows you to select them twice. So if I click this button again, you can see it will switch to the deflate. So I can deflate the surface, put it inwards. Flatten allows you to flatten the surface, and it's based on how you establish the normal. If I let's see, if I take a surface from here, for instance, just to show it off, and I drag this out, you can see it keeps the same normal angle of the surface that I established when I first activated the tool. Erase erases the geometry. But since this is a polygonal tool, you can see if I try to erase this, there will be a small line because it can't really erase. It can't erase and completely erase the geometry if there's a connection between it. So we'll just make it really tiny. But it works good for a surface like this. You can just drag it in, just like so. Yep, smooth, like you're used to from before. Basically, it just moves out the surface, whichever surface is within the circle. Pinches the surface. That's good for convex shapes, like lines like this. You can also click it again to get the crease tool. So if you want to sharpen this area, that will do it for you. And that is essentially all the tools. That's what you got to work on. Since it's a polygonally based tool, that's the wrong one. You need to build out of the surface you have. And you can't really import more or create a new polygonally source. You have to work out of this singular one. currently. I'm sure they will import something or give us the option to use various eventually. Yeah, so yeah, what else? You can choose between the various tools with your touchpad on your controller. If you're able to memorize about where the various tools are, you can easily just look at your controller, your sculpting controller, and there's a symbol right there which allows you to see which tool is actually active. Currently, I don't think you can. For instance, if I use the inflate tool, I cannot click the inflate tool on this hand and switch to the deflate if I have inflate enabled. And that's something that will hopefully come soon, because when that's in, then it's going to be a huge joy to just use this hand, because I never have to do this again. Basically, just a couple times when I had to change the mirror or something like that. Now I'm kind of, I mean, it's not that bad, but it'd be nice to just click the same option again with this hand and get the opposite tool. Yeah, that's basically this program, and it's great if you prefer polygonal sculpting over voxel based. I'm not sure where to go with this. But yeah, I think you get the idea. It's a very nice program. Yeah, lastly, the paints. You can also paint the model. You have the traditional color wheel at your disposal. And it's a pretty computationally intensive task, because when I use the paint tool, my frame rate drops quite a bit, but as long as I keep my head still, it's not really that much of a problem. But if I try to rotate my headset when I paint, then usually I can experience some sickness.